Let's talk about how to prepare for a virtual assessment centre. What's up guys, it's Mike from Job Read English here to help you get hired. Here's another video about preparing for assessment centres. If you need help preparing for your assessment centre, then make sure you check out our Acing Assessment Centres bundle. I've spent thousands of hours preparing clients for all types of assessment centres for world famous companies since 2013, and I've put the best of what I know into one bundle, which includes free exercises with answers and walkthroughs and guides to the 7 different types of exercises you could get in an assessment centre and how to pass them. So let's talk about how to prepare for a virtual assessment centre. So first of all, what is a virtual assessment centre? Well, basically it's just online, right? So instead of you having to go somewhere to do an assessment centre with other people, you do it by yourself. You'll probably be in a group of 4 to 6 people. You might see everybody in a giant Zoom room, say there's some sort of group presentation at the start where they're talking about the business and expectations and core values and sort of selling you on the business, and then you'll split off and there'll be 4 to 6 of you because you'll never have more than 6 people in a group discussion, and then you'll have your assessor or you'll have your individual rooms that you go into, whether that be on Teams or Zoom. How likely are you to get a virtual assessment centre? Well, statistically across the board, only about 2% of people, 2% of applicants make it to assessment centres. And to be honest, that's probably me being generous. So if you had 100 people who applied for a job initially, only 2 are going to get through to an assessment centre. And the good news is, technically, you're good enough to do the job. And now we just need to see how good you are at solving problems and working with others. So what could you have in a virtual assessment centre? Well, there are 7 different types of exercises that I've seen in hundreds of different assessment centres, whether that be Boston Consulting Group or PwC or Deutsche Bank. It's all kind of boils down to these 7 exercises, which is group discussion, written exercise, case study, role play, retesting or online testing, retesting, presentations, and a final interview. That's pretty much it. That's what we cover in our Acing Assessment Centres bundle. Some of them are much more likely than others. Like today is very unlikely to get a role play unless it's in sales or business development, for example. What you can expect on the day is 2 or 3 different exercises. Sometimes some assessment centres will have 2. There'll generally be a group discussion and a written exercise / case study / presentation. And you might also have a 3rd exercise, which will probably be an interview. You don't tend to get retested or do online tests again in a virtual assessment centre. I don't tend to see any, I haven't seen any role plays, virtual assessment centres since they came about through COVID. So that's kind of the 5 exercises that you can expect. But generally it tends to be group discussion, written exercise, and maybe an additional interview. So that's kind of what you can expect. It will last about 3 to 4 hours, and you'd have some comfort breaks within that, which is quite nice because you're sitting at home, so you can be more chilled and relaxed. So here's just 5 tips for best performance. Number 1, dress smart. So I have actually seen people turn up to virtual assessment centres basically looking like me, and I'm like, what are you doing? You need to dress like you're going for a job. Always dress to impress. Always look like you're actually going to turn up at the job. That's the whole point. I'm not going to go through how should you dress or what should you dress in. Everybody knows how to dress smart. Tip number 2, have a notepad and pen. This is quite a funny thing. A lot of people aren't used to doing this, but if you think about it, unless you've got multiple screens or an iPad, which you feel happier using and you're zooming on your laptop, for example, a notepad and pen is really very useful because you can write stuff down like people's names or keywords that come up in the group discussion or data or key points that people are making. It's really easy to refer to. Of course, you might, and it might be like just something simple for like doing figures. I know that we're in the 21st century, so some of you youngsters out there might be like, well, I've just used my iPad and pen. That's fine. The point is, have somewhere easy to reach and easy to read to take notes. Number 3, have notes on the company around or behind you. So one of the massive benefits of a virtual assessment centre and a video interview is that you can actually have your notes to reach. So tips that I tend to give to candidates, it might be like, well, you might have cards which are dotted around you, like index cards. You could have cards which are behind the the screen that you can refer to. It's really useful for interview. It's useful if, say, for example, you get put in a room with other people and you have to go through questions and what they have to do, that sort of thing. So have notes, anything that you're a little bit sketchy on, you can pre-prepare that, which is why personally, I kind of prefer virtual assessment centres over real assessment centres. Tip number 4, be mindful of the technology, especially in a group discussion. Plenty of clients do virtual assessment centres. One of the massive drawbacks of this is in a group discussion. Why? Because Zoom and Microsoft Teams has a function where only one person can speak at a time. What does that mean? Well, basically, it means somebody can just ramble on, and I've had clients report back to me in the middle of a group discussion, an assessor has literally muted someone and said, please can you stop talking and let someone else talk? So just be really mindful of this. One of my sneaky little tricks to stop people talking is just to do this, right? Instantly, as soon as somebody sees movement on the screen, it distracts their attention and it breaks their momentum. They stop talking, you can talk. So that's a sneaky little trick that you can use. But that's something to be mindful of. And of course, you know, if you're not on mute or if you're on mute, all those, but just be mindful of the technology and always pre-test beforehand. The amount of times that I've had people say to me, oh, my internet wasn't working, or I tried to use the software and I didn't know how to use it. I'm like, dude, seriously? Did you seriously do that on the day? Test it the day before, the week before. Preparation is really important for success. So make sure that you get all of that stuff ready beforehand. And tip number 5 is just stay engaged on camera. Loads of times where I've had groups of people on a camera and I can literally see somebody, they're looking at their phone, they're staring out their window, they're writing some notes, they're kind of half falling asleep. You want to stay engaged. You want to make sure that you're in the room, you're listening to that person. Like, yeah, that's a great idea. Like, an assessor is going to be watching you and how you are throughout the day. If you're not able to maintain concentration and focus on camera for an hour, then how are you going to work remotely? How are you going to work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5? Just maintain the intensity. I would say, like, put your phone into airplane mode. In an assessment centre, you want to make sure that your focus is really at the task at hand. So just make sure to stay engaged, look engaged, smile, look like you're really interested in what's going on. Yes, is it effort? Yes, is it sometimes false? But also think about the other person who's watching that. When you look in a room and you see 3 people completely disengaged and bored, you're going to think, like, you're going to kind of discount them a little bit, right? So if the same was true for you, the same is going to be true for the assessor. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video about how to prepare for a virtual assessment centre. If you do, drop us a like, drop us a comment down below, let us know how we did, how was your virtual assessment centre, what other videos would you like to make? Make sure you subscribe to the channel for loads more helpful videos to help you get hired. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I wish you the best of luck. Bye.